Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, this is Those Guys with your host, Matt Marrero, along with their host, Tristan Walter, who is not here at the moment. Very confused about that. While we're waiting on Tristan Walter, I'm here talking about Ghostbusters because, damn it, we need someone to talk about Ghostbusters. So, here we are doing our Friday Night Movies podcast, talking about Ghostbusters. And so this movie, I know for a lot of people, they grew up with this franchise, right? And I'm sad to say that I don't believe that I did, right? While my father loved a lot of, movies like Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, even going so far as Twilight Zone and the original Star Trek, he showed me a lot of those. I don't know if he actually showed me Ghostbusters because while the original scene is, like, in my memory, if you will, while watching the original scene in the library, I remember that vividly. But the rest of the movie, mine is, of course, Stay Puft Man, was not there at all. And I really don't know what happened, in my brain, that I can't remember this movie because I love the original Back to the Future. I remember watching that a lot. And a bunch of other movies, but for some reason this movie escapes me, so I watched it a few years ago, and really it was everything that everyone hyped it up to be. I don't think it was, disappointing at all. The only thing that was disappointing, and I'll talk about this more with Tristan when we can get him on the air, is that I really felt like the character of Winston was not done well. And thankfully, the character agrees, or the actor agrees, rather. And also, apparently, there was a bigger role for him when the movie began, so it wasn't as if they started it off with just not caring about this character. They wanted to make 4 fully developed characters, or at least, it's not fully developed, because I will say, I think that there wasn't a lot of, backstory. There was guidelines, very little, foundation. Right? Just, a few lines here and there that really set up Bill Murray's character and Aykroyd's character. But still, I still think it was enough, if you will, right, for the time that they had, the allotted time, hour 45, and for the fact that you kind of just had it was a very action-oriented film, right? So I'm okay with that happening. However, it was a little frustrating, I think, that they took Winston's role and reduced it just to make Bill Murray's role bigger. Now, I love Bill Murray a lot. Right, but I really think that hindered the character, Winston's character, and also, and I know some people might say, why are you bringing race into this? But him being the African American character, it not only it stuck out either way, right? Had he been any other race, but now him being the minority, getting less attention, you could feel it more, and in my opinion, it felt worse. Now we have Tristan Walter here, going to put him in. Hello, Tristan.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts. What? Oh, hey.
No, but you are afraid of calling in on time. Now,
the phone was haunted,
how
Matt.
did you...
No, seriously, I tried to pick up the phone, and it just flew at me, and it just started flying around the room, and, it was bad. It was bad, man.
If you call Bill Murray, he'll tell you that no one will ever believe you, and he'll leave. So... Bill Murray will not be able to help you. We do have fun here. I was talking about it. I'm sure you heard because you caught the tail end of that. The character of Winston and how his role was diminished. Did you notice that, or because I don't know if you knew about the backstory of it being diminished, but just the idea that they introduced this new guy, and then he's just there.
Yeah.
Did that
kind of?
Yeah. Yeah, do you think that it would have been a better movie if his role had been, I guess, I'm going to say extended, if you will, just kind of him giving, him actually, not because he had dialogue, right? He had a character.
Yeah.
But he didn't, he was the new guy, and you're like, oh, cool, so this is the new guy, we're going to see the Ghostbusters through, right? And then, and then no.
I mean... I feel like he had a good moment, but I felt it kind of took away from him that he came in halfway through the film, and that he was the new guy. But
well,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess they put him in as to show that they were growing so fast, and it's like the three of them couldn't handle it, so it's like they're actually hiring on new people. In showing that, like, the Ghostbusters are so famous now. It's like, yeah, they're actually getting big and a lot of business, and that's kind of weird, but okay.
Yeah. What I think is sad is even some of the promotional stuff, and a picture that we used, no less. So screw us. We suck. On a picture that we used for, a DVD cover, or at least a poster of some kind, he's not even on the poster.
Oh, that's bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he's part of the second one. I know that his character is part of the animated series that they made, but at least I believe he is part of the animated series. I haven't seen it myself, but I'm pretty sure he was there. And it's just, and I was saying, right, it was because they wanted to give Bill Murray a bigger role. But the problem is that when they gave him a bigger role, right, I was still saying it didn't feel like they gave him much character depth kind of, like in his backstory. Like they gave him a bigger role, but because it was Bill Murray, it wasn't the character, it was Bill Murray. So what I mean by that is they didn't sit there and go, we need to give the character more depth, let's give him let's give him a flashback. No, because then it wouldn't be Bill Murray.
Right.
It's like we need Bill Murray in the present.
Yeah. I feel like it was just to give him more of the one-liners. Like he was the funny one kind of thing out of the group,
And he was, mind you. Like I really enjoyed his chemistry with the other two, and I think he was great. Right? All of them were great. It's just it was a little sad that we had to reduce some of their roles just to give Bill Murray some more time that I don't like. Although I will admit, his stuff with Zool was great.
Right.
I will say this movie was it's strange in the sense that I don't know. I assume this was supposed to be an adult film, quote unquote. Like I don't think it's supposed to be a family. Yeah, this was not meant to be a family movie or a family franchise. I mean, that's just me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you. Yeah.
No, I definitely agree with that. Yeah.
Good. I'm happy you agree. And the reason why I say this is because I know it's the 80s, right? And it's like, oh no, but you can have a family movie that has like certain types of references and things like that. Yeah, but just there's a difference between like a double entendre, in my opinion, and the whole I want you to be inside me. Like, that isn't
or the ghost
that's not a
dream.
Pun. Right, the ghost dream, Like even though you could be like, oh no, a child would ask, Mommy, Daddy, like what's going on there? It's like, well, I mean, no, they're not showing it because it's not a rated R film.
Right, but
you know what I mean? Like, that's why they're not.
You don't
showing
make that kind of joke in a family movie kind of thing.
No. Some other stuff was like the way, like with oh man, I can't believe how would I forget this name? I'm such a Rick Moranis, his belt being undone. That's a family movie joke. Belt being undone with him and Zool after, like, because apparently Zool needed some kind of life force or something, right? And so what happened was when the camera pans back to them on the rooftop, she gets up and then because technically Zool doesn't have a gender. They get up but Zool is in Dana's body. But anyway, or technically it's not Zool actually. I'm sorry, it's not Zool. It's the gatekeeper. I'm sorry, that's not Zool yet. Zool was played by a different character, technically.
Right.
Very interesting stuff. Anyway, but anyway, so you have Zool, quote unquote, and then you have Rick Moranis, and he sits up and he's like, oh boy, like this, I just got laid face with the belt undone. Like that's a family joke in terms of like you didn't even like you know what I mean? Like okay, that's funny, right? Quote unquote. You don't know what happened, whatever, yada yada yada. But like the whole like I want you inside me, and then Bill Murray just no, I think there's already two people in there. It's already a crowd, maybe more. I mean, I laughed hard, but I'm saying this
for
is
us, that's a joke. That's like that's hilarious. It's like when you sit down with Timmy and Tammy, and Mommy and Daddy, and it's like, what was that? Why are you guys like trying to hold in laughter? It's like no reason.
Yeah.
Or when Dad starts snickering and Mom just looks over like, Jerry. It's like what? It was funny.
We live in a very strange country. we live in a very strange country because in my head, right? And we're in the USA, by the way. We're in America. I feel like it's a really strange country because in my head, I imagine the parents, like the kids. Is she saying that she's gonna eat him? And the parents are just like, yes, cannibalism.
Yes.
Please believe it to be cannibalism. Like we live in a strange country.
Anything is better than
sex. Yeah. Just. Oh yeah. I'll put it to you like this. Tristan. The Walking Dead airs on UPN at about like 8 p.m. on a daily basis. 6 p.m., 8 p.m. Just reruns of The Walking Dead on UPN. Yeah. Like, and now, granted, it doesn't have sex in it. That's the point. No, it just has gratuitous. Mind you, I love The Walking Dead. But it has this, this violence, this gore, the zombie gore, and it's like, no, we can air that earlier. But then it's just like, oh, so what about Dexter on CBS? Oh, we have to heavily edit that. There's boobs in that. Can't have that.
Oh my god.
But anyway, so anywho, yes. So, did you watch this movie as a child? I said before you weren't able to listen into this. I was unable to watch this movie as a child, or at least I don't think I did. I don't remember watching it. I'm sure my dad tried.
I didn't see this movie until I was at least a teen. Like, not even just like it's not even like my parents are like, no, we don't want you to watch this until you're older kind of thing. It was just I just never got around to seeing it until later on.
Well, to be fair, with your parents constantly having you watch Star Wars, I'm sure there was very little time for anything else.
Oh yeah, exactly. Between Star Wars and Jurassic Park, I really didn't have time for anything else.
So she said, between Star Wars and Star Wars, I had no way of watching anything else. But yeah, that's true. Yeah, Star Wars, and Jurassic Park, pretty much. So yeah, this movie, I was saying how I only watched this movie a few years back, actually, at least in my conscious memory, a few years back, and I was delighted, right? Like, this movie really did live up to the hype, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, it was funny. Yeah. I'll definitely give it that.
Yeah. Yes. No, because I think, like, a lot of people hype this, and, like, in many movies, you might sit there and go, I think this was overhyped, right?
Right.
I don't think this was overhyped. I do think it could have had another 15 minutes. And again,
I mean,
Winston's
it's funny.
character,
I was actually surprised at the, 1 hour and 45-minute runtime. I was like, shit, this is longer than I remember.
Oh, okay. It was shorter than I remember. I thought it was 2 hours. I was like, well, I'm going to have to sit here, 2 hours, take notes. And then I'm like, oh, 145, shorter. But yeah, one thing that I found interesting was their use of CGI, because I think a lot of people forget that CGI was around for a very long time, right? Like, the way CGI is used nowadays, everyone's like, yeah, CGI came out in 2002. It's like, with the Scorpion King. And it's like, no, it's been around for a very long time, and, it just hasn't been as good, usually.
Yeah, right. It's just gotten better and better because people have continued to work at it.
Exactly. Technology has gotten better, and usually, we should stress usually, it's gotten better. But even then, I mean, TV show budgets, right, or TV show CGI, rather, has in some ways gotten better than, this movie, right? But in terms of CGI. But I still love that they were outgoing in what they wanted to do. And frankly, just happy. I'm really happy about Mr. Puff. Like, I'm so fucking happy. Because that was, honestly, he is American Godzilla. I'm sorry, Tristan. He's American Godzilla. They set that up to be a Godzilla
it was hysterical.
scene, and I loved it. Yeah.
Because as soon as you saw the head above the buildings and just the eyes, I just immediately I thought for sure they were going to make a Godzilla joke and someone was just going to scream out, Godzilla! Just as a freaking joke. I'm like, this has to happen.
Here's the thing, the roar it sounded like a Godzilla roar.
Yeah. It
was even fun. And it's beautiful too, because Puffman is just like, I thought of the most non-threatening thing I could. It's a marshmallow, man. I mean,
you did. You did imagine the most unharmful thing, but when it's the size of a skyscraper pretty much anything is, harmful to you.
Basically. Oh man, that was hilarious. I was a huge fan of the puff man part. I just can't say it with a straight face. It's just so beautiful. I love it so much. What's so interesting is how they, like, it's weird because, okay, so you shouldn't, the whole movie, you have to have your suspension of disbelief on because they're fighting ghosts. Like, no shit, Sherlock, right?
Right, yeah.
Or at least ghosts in this way, if you want to come at me with ghosts exist. Okay, but ghosts in this way, right? Like,
right.
These aren't, like, I don't think a lot of people out there are saying, no, ghosts will do just that to you. Always. It's kind of like, no, like, even when it's a demon territory, I would argue, right? Like, demon, end of days, like, it wasn't just like, oh, no, the spooky ghost. It's like, no. People were getting possessed, like, by demon, crazy shit. Literally, are you a god situations.
Right.
Also, by the way,
when somebody asks you if you are a god, you say yes.
But no, in my head though, it's like if she had asked, if they had answered when Zula, they had asked, "Oh, are you a god?" Yes, I'll test you, and then would have given them even harsher punishment and killed them on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like they would have been screwed no matter what he said.
Yeah, it's just great. Are you a god? No. Well, die. But yeah. So it was a very interesting. It was a very interesting end there. But yeah, no, I was trying to talk about the idea that the how the city of New York kind of. I mean, I know that they got famous, so that's fine. So I'm not talking about like everyone acting like they were the Beatles. That's cool. I'm referring to the mayor, and others in power. Like, well, hold on, guy that runs the environmental,
Yeah.
Whoa. These guys here, okay, we didn't know them until a couple months ago. But, slow your roll, asshole.
Yeah.
All right? They've been doing this your whole life. But these guys.
Honestly, that part of the movie actually bothered me. And, like, the first time I saw it, I was only, like, slightly niffed by that. But then, like, after like, taking, specific classes, about environmental studies and stuff like that, it's like, I looked at the date this was made. It's, like, 1984. It's like, yeah, this was an 80s movie because the EPA is the bad guy. Getting in the way of the upstart businessman, making his, trying to make his fortune, the American way by pulling on his own bootstraps. It's like, granted, yes, he was kind of an ass for, like, shutting down the grid and letting the ghost energy out, but it's like, if we really think about this, stepping outside of the fact that it's a movie, anyone would be sane to say, we don't know what this equipment does. You are letting out noxious chemicals into the air. We need to shut this down and do a thorough investigation into what the fuck you're doing in this building.
So then what was the problem for you more? The fact that this guy was such an asshole? Or the fact that the city just agreed with the Ghostbusters ASAP? It's
more the fact, it's like, it's not the character and the joke, it's more of the fact that, like, it reflects the times and how people... Because in the class we talked about, like, the 70s were more of a time where people were starting to become more environmentally conscious, 60s and 70s, and then we kind of only can have one focus, like, as a nation. There can only be one thing that is, like, our main focus, like, this is what everyone knows about and that we have to be doing something about it kind of thing. Like, once the 80s rolled around, it was the economy again because the economy was starting to go down. So they were trying to beef up business. And EPA laws were getting in the way of business being able to grow. Granted, it was trying to keep the air and water clean so, people don't die. But, who needs that when, the economy's in the toilet? We don't need air to breathe right now. Come on, guys, suck it in.
Well, it's very interesting. Suck in what? No air. What's interesting is... the way I look at it, too, is Love you. The way I look at it, too, is that it's interesting because, just very briefly before we jump back into the movie, the idea that I would assume that the EPA is looking at big business. Like, I mean, maybe that's just, again, I don't know much about this as you. So, like, I assume the EPA wasn't sitting there like, you mom and pop stores, we're going to fuck you up and shut you down. No, we're just saying bigger corporations that may be hurting the environment. Could you not? Right? Could you stop?
It was more
of course,
like
you have,
they had to make sure that business was following the set standard of like, hey, you're polluting. You really can't be doing that. It's like, we don't have a problem as long as you don't make a mess. Seriously.
And we don't have a problem with our sponsors, big corporations. No, we don't have any sponsors. I'm kidding. We don't have any sponsors. What? But anyway. In all seriousness, though, I understand that, I get what your problem is, too, just the idea that, like, this is an 80s movie because the EPA are the bad guys and the young upstart business. We're not talking about politics anyway. Like, we're not trying to say, like, oh, Aykroyd, clearly. Like, no, we don't want to do that, right? It's just interesting, I guess, and funny to see in a way. That
it just annoyed me that they were making them out to be the bad guy kind of thing. That's all.
No, and it's similar in how, let's say you look at Indiana Jones, right? Depending on which movie you look at. And it's very reflective of the times. Not trying to say that, clearly, what's it called? Clearly, the Temple of Doom movie was like that way because, no one realized that it would be deemed offensive. Well, no, India did, and we talked about this during our Temple of Doom podcast. Right? They wanted to film in India. Lucas wanted to. And India was just like, so we've seen your script for your movie. We would like to change this. And of course, they demanded some more things that I understand why, Final Cut and stuff like that. And Lucas said no, so he filmed elsewhere in the world. So clearly there were people, but, going like, no. But, of course, again, very reflective of the times because we didn't have social media, right? We didn't have, fan connectivity, if you will, right? It's kind of like fan interaction. So, yes, we know about this now. Maybe it was talked about then because that wasn't around when the second Indiana Jones movie came out. But the point is that they were able to get it out there. Where if Temple of Doom came out today, first off, it wouldn't happen today.
No, it wouldn't have even left the ground. Yeah.
No, or at least those parts of Temple of Doom, right? Like they would have been rewritten heavily or scratched out. Like do you understand? We need to release this movie in India, or we have fans who are going who are Indian that will be watching this film in America. You don't have to be Indian. Anything about
anything about the culture. You're kind of like
yeah, exactly.
No.
Yeah, exactly. So at the time, I can understand, why. It's kind of like, make that guy the bad guy. And to be fair, it was very easy because, he was an ass.
Right.
And also, we knew, as the fan, right, it's very easy to connect because, with the Ghostbusters, because as a fan, we knew, like, no, there's real ghosts in there. You're releasing real ghosts.
Right, exactly.
Please, no. But, of course, that's how he was written, and that's how it happened, and it was just kind of funny.
Right.
Because,
to be honest,
and Murray tried. His character really tried to be a dick too, and it was great. Like
exactly,
words,
somehow, it's funny. The other guy at first wasn't even necessary. Like you wouldn't be sure if you just looked at him and he walked in and we need to see your equipment. Like, the guy's an asshole. It's like it's not until fucking Beckman. That's the name. I mean. Bill Murray's character, but Beckman goes, you didn't say the magic word. And he's like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
No, honestly, in my opinion, honestly, the guy came off as very passive-aggressive at first. It's by the end of the movie that he isn't being much of a jackass, but Bill Murray's character is just like, what was, it's just,
full on fuck you, basically.
No, not that, no, it was just, that man's dickless. Is that true? It is confirmed. He has no penis. I laughed, but I was like, Bill Murray's an ass.
I'm like, really?
Well,
really, Beckman?
No.
Now?
Yeah.
Now?
I mean, granted, that is one of the funniest parts of the movie. Just, it is confirmed that man has no penis.
But it's like, that's the character.
Yeah.
Like, that was his character, so.
Yeah, but I'm just saying compared to the EPA guy, by the end, EPA guy was real nice. Which is why it was so weird in that scene where it's like, get that guy out of here.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, no. Granted,
he even looks at the mayor and he's like, you're not seriously saying you're following what these guys are talking about, are you?
Yeah. I will say one thing, though. I know we didn't see, I'm talking about the late night stuff. I know we didn't see too much of late night stuff. It was very smart to not let Bill Murray's character be on late night. Very smart to let Aykroyd's character be there. Very, very smart. I'm going to say. I was like, yeah, you know what? Good job, guys. Like, as characters, good job. You don't let him loose on late night.
It's like, you want to keep your business, right? Yeah.
Yeah, basically. So how did you feel about Spengler? Basically, Mr. I'm very tall and I'm nerdy, but I'm quiet.
I mean, it's funny. I have to keep in mind it's like when the movie was made kind of thing. So it's like how certain people act and how they're portrayed, in a way is still done to this day, but maybe less so than it was, originally.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I enjoyed his character. Like, each of them. It's not like he was the only one. Like, I'm the science guy. It's like, no, they were all very well versed in something. Like, they were all, maybe not professors, but like trying to be.
I would say they were all. Yes.
Aside from
I would say they were all.
But,
yeah, but even that he was a professional. I just think that he wasn't in. He was out of his depth being with the two of them doing stuff like this.
Yeah. And like I enjoyed his character. So like all of them had a quirk. You have the guy who's like kind of a phony, kind of an asshole. He's like he does some work, but it's like even in the beginning of the movie, it's like he's trying to do it to get laid, kind of thing. He's kind of sleazy in a way. And then you have the one guy who's like, sees nothing but science, kind of thing. And then you have the one guy who's also, a big scientist, but he's the, timid and like afraid one kind of thing. It's like, what was it? It was like, yeah, Stans, go get her, man. And he just looks, at Vecna like, he doesn't even say anything. He just looks over like, you're an ass.
Well, because that was the best. That was one of the best parts of the movie. Because I mean, you have it happen in the first 5 minutes, and it's just, oh, really? Go get her, and then you have it happen later, and I'm like, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
I was actually really happy about that.
Yeah.
What I also found interesting is that they went the route of making the Ghostbusters famous mid-movie. Usually does not happen. Usually they stick to the, characters like this being the scrappy underdogs even to the end. But really, in a way, like I know they tried to go the underdog route where it's like, oh no, the big bad EPA with their big bad EPA-ness, right, with their environments. But the thing is they were famous midway in the movie, meaning that the mayor knew who they were. And it's funny because like you could argue, for better or for worse, but they were on talk shows. Now, of course, they got the general, like, third degree that everyone gets on a talk show, where, it's like, it's a comedian, so it's the whole, have you seen Elvis?
Right, yeah.
Of course. But, I mean, even then, they've got in Larry King. I was like, oh, hi. Yeah. It's like young Larry King, or at the very least, not current-day Larry King.
Right.
Because even then, I'm like, young Larry King. It's like he was not young in that. 30 years ago, Larry King.
Oh, and I thought it was hysterical hearing Casey Kasem on the radio show.
I freaked out. I was like, I know your voice. Who are you again? And it's like, and it's Casey Kasem. And I'm like, God damn it. Anyone doesn't know. Yeah, not just Shaggy.
Oh, yeah, Robin. No, he did a lot of stuff.
He did Robin in the animated Batman and Robin 1960s series. So, obviously the one in 66 came out. But they also made an animated series to accompany that. Yeah. And he was also Robin. So if I remember, I know for certain that Scooby-Doo had a crossover with that Batman and Robin series. So if I am correct in them keeping the same voice actors, which I believe I am. Casey Kasem did both Shaggy and Robin in the special.
Yeah.
So he crossed over with himself. Don't cross the streams, but he crossed over with himself. But I also love the idea of, like, don't cross the streams, otherwise the entire world will explode. End of the movie. So we're so fucked that
we literally have nothing left to lose. Because if we don't do this, if we don't try this, we're all gonna die anyway.
Yeah, and the entire world. So it's just like, let's just negate what's already been done by crossing the street.
And let's not forget, them, when the earthquake happens and before they go into the building, it's like, they get back up and everyone's like, oh, cheering. It's like, yeah, no problem. We got this. We can handle this. And then they get up there. It's like, we're all going to die. So let's cross the streams. But before we do that, let's have our last words be the longest dick joke ever.
Right, of course.
It's like, wouldn't be perfect till those were your last words. Yeah.
So I'm sorry, maybe I didn't catch it. What was the longest dick joke ever? I'm sorry.
Oh God, great. Now I have to explain it. Like, I don't have the lines written down, but it was just like, it was Bill Murray, when they have, when Zool comes out, and they're just like, all right, let's show this prehistoric, let's show her how we do it downtown. And then he's just like, fling them out, turn them on, make them hard, shit like that. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. This is not how we're going out, is it?
Yeah, right.
And then
this is how
after
they all
the whole
die.
thing, they blow up a gate, and then the Marshmallow Man explodes, which that was an awesome effect. Like, his face looked like he was at the strapped to the end of a jet engine. That was fucking amazing. Mm-hmm. But when one of them gets up and he's like, oh, I feel like the floor of a taxi cab, and I'm like, and there's the finisher.
Right, of course, yes.
I'm like, well,
hey, if it wasn't a taxi cab,
guys.
it could have been a theater. Yeah, it could have been a theater. But yeah, no, it was very, yes, I understand. It's very interesting. A lot of people, it just hit me, right? In my opinion, right, I consider this movie to not be so much of a children's film, right, or a family film. Very interesting that we have a lot of these people that don't like the new movie just based on the fact that it ruins their childhood. Like, it just hit me like, wait a minute, you should not have been. Like, I would not show this to my kid until they're, like, 14. And I'm like, it's time, son.
This is a like a teenage movie, No, I don't
know. In my opinion, I'm just going to look at my kid, like, when they're 14, right? And that is son or daughter. Just be like, but I'll say son just because I'll say, it's time, son. And he's going to look up to me with these big, nice, bushy eyes and say, Dad, I've already seen hardcore pornography. And I'm going to say, we're putting child locks on your computers forever. No matter how old you are, there will be a child lock, and you will not be able to get through it.
Well, with the way computer science is advancing, I'm going to say he's probably going to crack it within the week.
He already did, Tristan. He already did. He's not even born yet.
Your unborn child already has done it. Anyway.
No, but in all seriousness, though, I hope that's not what happens. But I am going to wait. Like, I don't know, because, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if this is, again, different times, and that's another thing, too. Again, we talk about this being a very much, an 80s movie. Not in a bad way, though. Like, I don't want to sit here and say, oh, God, it's so dated. Only thing that we'll say that's dated is the EPA thing, for obvious reasons, right? But minus that, I don't really want to sit here and be like, oh, my God, it's so dated. Because, again, first off, dated doesn't mean bad necessarily, but I think in this context it would, right? So I don't want to sit here and say that, like, oh, it's so, dated or bad or whatever. Like, no, I really enjoyed a lot of this movie. And we've already said what we did enjoy, right? So let's talk about some more stuff that we did enjoy. The fact that they converted a firehouse, an old abandoned firehouse, into their base of operations was a hell of a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah,
like,
no,
really
that was
enjoyed,
great.
Yeah.
Especially, like, the first time, she calls them down. It's like, we got a real one! And they just, they slide down the pole.
The soundtrack was
know.
a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I was a huge fan of the soundtrack. One thing I want to mention, though, speaking of Dana's character, right, because she's on my screen right now. So by giving Murray more lines, you clearly give Dana more lines. The issue is, though, is that even with giving her more lines, we still don't know anything about her. Like, I'm not saying every character needs to, like, find a way to shoehorn in, like, when I was a child, right, or something like that. But, like, for some reason, it feels like we just got incomplete versions of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or, I'll be honest, right, getting the basics for the main team, I'm okay with it. But it would have been nice to know more about her because, again, just same thing with, Winston coming in, right? It's kind of like you're a new character, quote-unquote. You're not one of the first three that we just saw in the beginning. You're, quote-unquote, new. So it would be nice to see some more of you. Also, one thing, we were talking about Spengler before, right? And you were like, I like his character, but he's a bit too, like, the stiff scientist thing, right? You know, the kind of, the trope, even though, to be fair, this is the 80s. So in other words,
exactly.
Putting it, when I say that, I mean, if it happens today, it's a lot more of a trope than it did back then, in my opinion.
Right. Everyone, like, rolls their eyes, and it's like, oh, they're using the trope again kind of thing, you know?
And you know, it happens a lot. It's kind of funny, right? Like, people will look at, like no, because it's just like, people will look at Burton's Batman, right, at 1989. Oh, he's doing the dark Batman thing. Actually, that's where it started in movies.
Right.
No, like, the thing is, that's where it started. You can't just be like, oh, another dark Batman. No, this is your first time seeing it.
Right.
Don't even. You know what I mean? It's not your first time seeing it. You've seen The Dark Knight. You've seen Batman v Superman, you know? But it's like, guys. For, you know, one of the first times it happened. Like, first time it happened in movie format, you know? And in general, the 80s were getting very dark with Batman. It was kind of like a switch from, 60s. Because, again, 60s Batman was,
Pow,
Adam West in all of his glory.
Bam.
Yes.
Good job.
In all of his glory. Yes.
Golly
gee willikers, Batman. Well, Robin, how about you shut the fuck up? Well, golly gee willikers, I will, Batman.
Oh, golly gee willikers, Batman. When did you get a mouth and an opinion?
Holy, no one gives a shit, Batman.
One more out of you like that, and it's back to the orphanage. Ha ha! Fuck you.
At least I had my parents longer, Batman. Golly gee. I think we're gonna stop. Right here. We're gonna continue with the movie.
Okay.
But my point with Spengler, right? I would take Spengler as a nerd, quote unquote, who, by the way, gets the girl. Who I know some might say, oh, well, she was nerdy, she was whatever. She was cute. You know, I liked their receptionist, and she was,
funny.
I loved how, because here's the thing, I'm sorry to interrupt. She looked cute, in my opinion, right? And not only that, she actually was she just wasn't some some servant, right? Subservient.
Right.
That's a good word. That's the right word. That's the real word.
A temporary kind of thing.
Yeah, no, not like it. I don't mean like that. I mean like she wasn't just like, oh, of course, sir. Well,
right.
She was a human being. She was
right.
like, I'm not getting paid enough for this.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I like that. I know that is also a trope, right? Even back then, it's a trope. The idea like, the mouthy female secretary. But again, I'd rather take. Yeah, I'd rather take that though as a female character than right away, Mr. Venkman.
Right. Yeah.
Where's
my coffee? Right here. That kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just kind of. I mean, like where's my coffee? Oh, I'll get it right away. No, it's just like where's my coffee? Where you left it.
Yeah, right.
Like like that's. And
turns around
I like that.
Oh, shit.
Right. Right. So So Spengler gets the girl, right? And I know it's kind of like, well, like Venkman got the girl. It's like look.
Right.
Sigourney Weaver is Sigourney Weaver. Right.
Weirds me out. still.
We'll talk about that a little bit later. But Sigourney Weaver's
Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver, right? Of course. But I really liked, the character of the secretary. But talking about Spengler, I'd rather be a Spengler than a Tully, which was Rick Moranis' character. The Mr. Hey, I'm having a party.
Lois.
I'm going to be all my clients. I'd rather be Spengler. Just put it out there.
I felt so bad for him.
I did too. But I mean, hey,
just
he
the amount of shit that happens to this poor guy.
I'll say that. Yes, most definitely. But you know what? Even at the end, he's like, who are you guys? We're the Ghostbusters. Who does your taxes?
Oh, yeah.
God damn it.
Or they're leading him out of the building. It's like, anyone want to interview me? I was an eyewitness too. Wait, I want to go. No, I want to go in the car too. And they just lead him off. It's just like, wow, guys, way to be.
In the ambulance. Yeah. It was like
more like the
I'm
ambulance.
pretty sure I'm in my head. Wow. I'm pretty sure she's a lot more traumatized than him. Honestly, he seems just fine. He was doing business deals.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
oh no, you ended up with the guy at the end who was kind of creeping on you the whole movie, but whatever. It's like you're not, you're not traumatized by being possessed. No,
Yeah.
Like,
I'll say this much: Bill Murray's character was creepy, but in my opinion, they gave him bad lines, like creepy lines, but they made sure physically to keep him far away.
Right.
Because
I suppose you could say they did it tastefully.
Mhm.
Like it wasn't, you said, it wasn't physical. It was just one-liners. That was he was still.
No.
It was still more of him just kind of being an ass kind of thing. It wasn't
I'll say
stalking
this, right?
or anything like that.
Yes. Now I will say this. It was weird. It was weird when he kissed her and he said be okay, I'll be right back. But to be fair, they showed, even though it was just one scene, of them actually hitting it off before he kisses a possessed her and says, "It's be okay, I'll be right back." Right. I'm going to work. That was still if they didn't show that other scene beforehand, it would have been so you just showed up to her apartment because you talked on the phone, and then no, it actually seemed like they were hitting it off. Because the first time it's just again, I'm not interested in you. Okay, got it.
Right.
But you know what? Even though it was, again, weird, it was, why it was weird the most, I think? Not even because of his train of thought, but because his character didn't seem like an actual hopeless romantic. I thought he was trying to sleep with her. But he actually truly fell for her. So at first I was like, he's doing the, I'm going to say this just to have sex with you thing, which is terrible. But because
that's how it started out.
Doing it.
With not
the
even with her, but exactly. The girl he was doing, the ESP
which,
experiment with the other guy.
By the way, fucking hilarious. I find it. I mean, it was sleazy, but hilarious. Yeah. It was one of those weird things where there's some things that I believe personally that I could see in in cinema, right, in fiction, and go, that's funny.
Yes. Yeah.
And then have
in
someone
fiction,
go,
exactly.
yeah, I did that once. And then I'm like, fuck you, you're a piece of shit.
Well, no. It's it's funny in a movie because it's a movie. It's not funny in real life because no. Right.
No, you're shocking a random dude after paying him $5.
Yeah.
And you're just telling her,
you can keep your $5, asshole. It's I will.
By the way, did you notice? I don't know if you noticed this. The experiment was working.
Yeah. Right, because he guessed one of them right, and he's just
he guessed the last one after getting shocked and getting the rest wrong.
God, I was so, it's you're an ass.
It was working.
Right.
I was so mad, too. I was like, you're a piece of shit, it's working.
Right.
He was just trying to shock him enough time that he's like, I'm leaving. I'm never going to, I'm gone.
Right.
Even though I'm like, damn it, no, the experiment's working. Fuck.
I mean, honestly, I would
mad.
say it was more of dumb luck than anything else. I mean, it's a script.
But it's just
obviously, it was scripted that way. But it's right, yeah. But I feel him guessing one card is not it's working. It's well, that's a coincidence.
No,
maybe it's
card.
Working.
No,
or maybe
but it's the
not.
last card after constant stress. That's the interesting thing. Where she was getting them all wrong no matter what. She didn't get one right, and she was stressed.
Yeah.
She's just she's the opposite. She was just oh, well. Yeah. I loved it. Notice you could have said anything. She's just oh, yeah, I just want to kill, and he's nodding. And they both say puppy at the same time. Oh, my God, me too. Doesn't matter
Yeah.
what the fuck she would have said. He just would have bandwagoned at the end of it. Wow.
Right.
But he's like, it's like we finish each other. She goes, elephants. He goes, safari. Was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Like, it's just like, it was such a fucking terrible, but still, again, I laughed. I found it funny. But when we see that character, right, I don't know. Like, Bill Murray is a great actor, and I think he's hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Like, also, great,
definitely.
Very funny. But I don't know if he personally was able to pull off, at least at first, the I'm really in love with this woman thing. Because I truly believed, and maybe that's just my personal bias, right, seeing him in other roles.
Right.
For some reason, for me, it felt like he was actually just trying to sleep with her. And then halfway through the movie, when they introduced her again, I'm like, oh, no, shit, he likes her. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Like, I was not aware of this.
Right.
Because even him doing the whole, like, you know what, I'll change, I'll get better, and then that's when you'll think of me. You'll think of me, won't you? And it's like, God damn it, shut up. Right?
Right.
And then, but he actually does become famous, and somewhat, at least in the New York area. And then, like, he shows up again. And to be fair, it's funny to say this. The case was still on the table, right? Like, even though she didn't report anything, technically it's like, I'm happy he showed up there. He should have done a follow-up. I'm happy he did. I know he did it for different reasons. But I'm happy he did a follow-up because, frankly, it was kind of like there was some crazy shit that happened here, and we paid you in advance. You were our first customer.
Right. Well, like, that was the thing when he came back to her, and she's like, so do you have anything for me? It's like, you have been, investigating my case, right? He's like, oh, shit, right, that. Kind of like, all right.
Oh, man. But they did get swamped, though. Like, they really fucking did. Like, holy shit, a lot of people.
I mean, okay, I guess it was because, the whole architecture thing was built there. The skyscraper was in New York. But it's like, how is all this paranormal shit going on in New York and, the rest of the country, or granted, the rest of the world is completely fine? And I mean, okay, scale of the movie, I'm glad they didn't start going all over the world. Like, I don't think they would have geared up for that. That would have been too much. Like, they're only just starting up now. Here's the way I look at it. Yeah, here's the way I look at it, right? The movie, originally, Aykroyd wrote it to be, with some other people that sounded, I can't remember their names at the moment. I'll find them a little bit later. But he wrote the movie as a very, I'm trying to think of the word. I would say it's adventurous. That's what I'll call it. It was a bit too ambitious. Right, where it was like, oh, we're going to, like these Ghostbusters, they can time travel, right? They're going to go around the world, different dimensions. And after looking at the script, I can't remember who was funding the film or who was helping to write the film, but once it was picked up, and it was like, oh, that's a great idea, looked at the script and said, no, we're downscaling this. Right, it's not feasible for, a 2-hour movie.
Yes.
Or
just
introduce
the
them. Yeah, and the budget too. Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Ivan Reitman, who was the director-producer, right? He liked the basic idea because Aykroyd was like, here's my idea. And he loved it. When he saw the first draft, he was like, no. Because, the first... Different dimensions and time travel and stuff like that would be great for, subsequent movies kind of thing, Yes. Because looking at this, just really, wanting to make sure everyone knows the exact word. The original version, a group of ghost smashers traveled through time, space, and other dimensions, combating huge ghosts, of which the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was one of many. They wore SWAT-like outfits and used wands instead of proton packs to fight the ghosts. In addition to that, let's see. Yeah, okay, yeah, so that's it in terms of, how it looked. So, so the point is that it was obviously changed, no duh. But I think that's why they didn't even want to go into the whole world aspect. They were like, let's just stick to New York. Right. It would have been nice. I found it so funny that, New York City is getting turned basically up on its end, and, the rest of the country is you don't hear anything on the news, so in worldly news, New York City is having an incredible amount of paranormal activity, and it's very odd. It's funny too because it is funny because it's not even it seemed like they had, even if it's just 1 month. 1 month is long enough where it's just ghosts exist now.
Right,
It's changed.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Like,
But,
it's not like
by
I
the way,
had a problem with it, the
yeah.
movie, like, being strictly in New York City or anything. I just found it funny, like, thinking about it. Like, I'm imagining, like, other, like, ghost-busting groups, like, popping up over the world, like, you know, real and fake alike. Like, you know, like, yeah, you know, paranormal stuff is, like, has been happening, you know, everywhere.
Right.
It's not just in New York City. It's like,
Exactly.
can we get some funding,
also,
too? Seriously.
Yeah, I got something wrong. I can't believe I spoke. Yeah, no, I was right originally, where it's Dana is Zool, and Gozer is what they combined to, not really combined because they were still dogs, but what they came together to unleash. It's Gozer.
Right.
So Gozer
to
was
unlock.
non-binary, right?
Right.
Yeah, played by a beautiful model. But what's interesting, by the way, model being Slavica Jovan. But it's well, she's a Serbian actress, but she's also a former model. What I want to mention, though, is what's very interesting is the original actor that was going to play Gozer, right? I want to find this just to make sure, was Paul Rubens. Do you know who Paul Rubens is?
That sounds awfully familiar. I'm terrible with names, though.
Pee-wee's Playhouse?
Oh, dear God.
Yeah. So it's just,
okay.
No, it's Gozer. Secret word of the day. Yeah, so, yeah, Paul Rubens was going to be a thin man. Yeah, Paul Rubens, a thin, unassuming man in the same outfit, I would assume, right? So, but it turned, but you know, they didn't go with that.
Right. Okay.
I think it would have been funnier if they did. I'll say that much.
Oh yeah, like it's funny.
Yeah.
Like the movie, like in some instances, you could be like, oh wow, it's like this is kind of actiony and like they're taking themselves seriously, and then like 5 minutes later, it's like, oh shit, is this like an actual like action/horror movie? And then it's like, nope, this is comedy.
Yeah, and in a way, I like that, right? I think it was a nice it was a high functioning like action comedy film, and I say high functioning in the sense that, you know, like sometimes they try to go for straight parody, so it's like no action whatsoever, right? But that's how I use the word high functioning in this case, because like it could have just been a straight out comedy, nothing, or straight out action, maybe a few little jokes here or there. But I really feel like they had a nice balance, and they really tried to go like, this is going to be a comedy film, because of course Aykroyd wrote this for his SNL buddies, right? Which is why, you know, I'm not going to bring this up too much because this isn't the 2016 Ghostbusters podcast, but it's actually really nice to see that SNL cast members got onto the new Ghostbusters film, because that's what the original one was about, right? Getting SNL cast members in this movie. Yeah. Right? But yeah, so anyway, point is that I do think that it was very, like, it wasn't just basic in terms of just being action or comedy, right? They're really able to blend the both together into what I referred to as, I guess, high functioning, if you will. I'm sure there's better words than that, but that's the one that came to mind for this film. Like, it wasn't just straight, you know, this or straight that, right? The blend was done very well. Right. So let's see if there's anything else I want to mention before I just give the mic over to you completely to just start saying anything you want. Literally anything. Talk about anything.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, I put you on the spot. I don't know about this one.
Matt, this isn't Star Wars.
Yeah, right. Oh, good God. I don't know what. Don't do this. Yeah. Yeah. I loved Rick Moranis when he was possessed. I think overall he's a great actor, obviously, but I loved possessed Rick Moranis a lot. Like, he was very much into the role, and he really gave his all. And I think it was just, he brought so much to the film. Yeah. You know, because at first I thought, okay, you're not really doing much here. Right. Right? But by the time he's possessed, I really think it was like, wow, I can see why they cast you, you know? Because at first, I don't know why, when I heard him speak and the way he stuttered and everything, I don't know why I got this Woody Allen vibe, right? But when he actually was, a lot more of a comedian, right, as he is a comedian, I was like, okay, Rick Moranis, yes. This makes sense.
Right.
But anyway, anything you want to talk about, you want to say in regards to the film, any parts that stuck out to you that you really enjoyed, that you didn't enjoy?
Yeah. There were two other things that really stood out for me. One was when Dana's character, Dana walks back into her apartment later on in the movie. I think it was like after her mom called her, and the kitchen door starts shaking, and it's like her face, like she did the perfect reaction shot, because I immediately saw her face, and just as her head started turning and looking over, I'm like, that's a no shit face. And literally the next line is, oh shit. I'm like, ah! I'm like, it was so beautiful, because I'm like, oh, caught that one. Oh.
Yeah, it was a very, I think that everyone really brought something great to this film. Again, we needed some more of this and more of that, and we already said that enough. But I also should mention that Winston's character was actually going to be an ex-jet pilot. Because they mentioned that he had a bigger role earlier. He was going to be a jet pilot, an ex-jet pilot, and really just looking for work.
Right.
Right? And that's why, it kind of sucks that they just kind of cut that role. I'm sorry, yes, an Air Force, I'm sorry, I'm wrong, I'm the asshole. Air Force demolitions expert. Right? So when he heard about this, the actor, Ernie Hudson, he was like, oh, snap, of course, I'd love to do it. And then the night before shooting began, he was given the new script. Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah. That's a dick.
So imagine being, especially when he was excited, so he actually did the job for half of his usual salary.
Oh, that's
I know.
Fucked up.
Although to be fair, I would assume he wasn't showcased as much. Meaning that, while it sucks he did the job for half what you usually do, he wasn't subjected to as much filming as the rest of them were.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's like, at least he didn't because imagine if he was still in the entire movie just standing there. That would have been fucking worse, right? So at least he appears halfway through the film, and when he is there, he is talking. He's usually not, he isn't just sitting there. Again, he had a few good moments around the end, both in the mayor's office and, and in the, on the rooftop. I'm just laughing at the line that you had said earlier, just when someone asks you.
Yeah,
but,
if you're a god, you say yes.
Yeah, what's interesting, though, is they made his character the religious one, and I say that interesting because, this, not so much trying to evoke the idea of, the religious African-American man, just in general because the rest of them were pretty much straight-up scientists, which, again, would have been nice to know his other backstory because he's clearly not a scientist, but without knowing at least one line, by the way, I used to do jet pilot shit, right? It's kind of like, well, thank goodness we found this unemployed African-American male.
Right.
It
was funny. I like the line that he, starts talking about, the dead reviving and the whole, biblical idea, because he's the first one to actually bring it up. He's it's like, I'm just going out on a limb here, but this seems kind of biblical in proportion. Should we be worried about that? And he's like, also, talking to him in the car, oh, no, I'm sure there's nothing. Oh, God, you might be onto something.
Also, his first lines in the film are representative of everyone in America. Literally everyone. Just, do you believe in XXXX? His first line, for a paycheck, I'll believe it. I sat back and I was like, you represent every American, black, white, young, old.
Yeah,
I will believe
whatever
you want me to believe if you pay me.
80s or 2016, it's like, I hear you.
Yeah. You give me a job? Sure.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, also I think, with an extra 15 minutes, I think we could have actually seen, although I'm sure it was a budgetary issue, not a time issue.
Yeah.
We would have been able to see them a montage of them doing more. Because the thing is that we were told, hey, some shit's going on, right? but like we didn't really, in my opinion, see them do much. We just heard
Right.
later, you have Winston's character like, man, I've seen a lot of stuff with these guys.
Yeah.
It's like it would be nice to have seen you see some
Right.
of that stuff.
It's like you just got. Wait, how have you done stuff? You only just got here. It's like, no, I've been on here for like a month now.
But no.
Like
a month or two. I mean, it's still long
Right.
enough to be like, nah, dude, it's real. But still,
Right.
not that it's only been a month. It's that we didn't see more of the month.
Exactly.
That's the thing. I'm cool
Right.
if it's only a month. These are ghosts. It matters. Everyone's seen them, right?
Yeah, because I mean, they did a montage with the 3 original members where they were out doing stuff, and it was small, but it was something,
Yeah.
And that's like why you said it feels weird with him coming in the middle of the film, and you don't get to see him with them doing like the small jobs, like here and there, like.
Right.
And that's how he builds up, like, yeah, shit, there are ghosts. Like I believe the guys,
Yeah, exactly. Which sucks. Another thing I want to mention too is that what was it? I want to say something good. I really love the library scene because, in the beginning, because as you mentioned, or at least you were alluding to, but I think you were referring to this part as well, that really felt like a horror movie.
Yeah, no, that was eerie as fuck.
I mean, it turned into a comedy when they're running out the door. We'll call you. We'll keep in touch. But at first,
but no,
when
the beginning
screamed,
with just the librarian, like walking down, I'm like, oh no. I'm like, no.
And even some of the parts with Zool where she was floating, right? Like, obviously on the bed it was funny where Murray's like, I can't. I should. No, I should not. Right? That's
no,
funny.
I shouldn't.
But in terms of, Zool floating and then the growl.
We never talk anymore.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite one. He's just like, we never talk anymore, and she just throws him onto the bed. It's like, oh shit.
Yes, very much so. But yeah, so the ghost thing. One thing I want to mention right before we end the show, or at least before we start to wrap things up, I want to mention what I found very interesting with the EPA guy's theory, saying like, but actually no, I want to mention immediately. I know like you let the ghosts out and everything, but that doesn't mean that skeletons are allowed to go around. What the fuck were you guys catching? Sorry, just a skeleton cabbie. I was like, that's physical. That's corporal. What are you doing?
Dambo.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, God,
so
that'll be the next one.
What?
Ghostbusters Zombie Apocalypse.
I mean,
or
yeah.
Ghostbusters versus the Zombie Apocalypse.
Why not? I mean, they're catching it a little bit too late. Like, the zombie craze happened a while ago, but sure, why not?
Buster's X walking.
Oh honestly, I gotta be. You know what's really made me laugh? Hearing that Sony wants to make the new Ghostbusters into like a real big franchise. It really made me laugh because I'm like, Sony, if you cross over with Spider-Man, you know how happy you'll make me? If Ghostbusters crosses over with Spider-Man, do you understand my love? I would marry Sony and any representative from Sony. If Ghostbusters
Peter Parker,
and
the new Ghostbuster.
You think I won't be fucking excited? I mean,
I know you will.
To be fair, he's been an Avenger, an X-Man. Why can't he be a Ghostbuster?
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Why can't he be a jet pilot?
Fuck yeah. But anyway, so but in all seriousness, though, right? In all seriousness, I can't remember what we were talking about. We were talking about something very serious. Oh yeah, we were talking about just.
Could you imagine them fighting
how scary the film was?
Stay Puft Marshmallow Man with Spider-Man? It's like, tie him up,
That's what I'm
Spidey!
saying.
It's like, don't cross the beams when I'm swinging in the air, please.
No, it's like Infinity War with Thanos. Like, honestly, it's gorgeous. I would love it. I'd be happy. I know some of you think I'm kidding. I would be so fucking happy if Spider-Man was a Ghostbuster or in the Ghostbusters franchise. I'm sorry. I would be excited. Anyway, but getting back to the actual film in hand, right? It was a hard movie at some points, and like I said, I really think that they had a good job, juggling all that. I'm just thinking about it right now. Oh no, EPA guy, right? That's my main point. EPA guy saying like, oh, they're releasing gases that are making people hallucinate. Do you know that that's the actual scientific belief behind supernatural phenomena.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like, if you're exposed to certain elements, it's like, yeah.
No, what I'm saying is they will have, like, people will, like, you'll have supernatural, like, you know, ghost hunters, right? And they'll come in and they'll say, oh, is there, like, a leak of, like, gas or something? It's an old building, right? You know, because that's why it's like, oh, it's an old building, it's haunted. Is there some kind of miniature gas leak? You know, anything like that? Well, we don't know. Why? Let's check on that. Because if it is there, then the people who have, they think that they're seeing, you know, hauntings, they've just been semi-hallucinating.
Right.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and try to say that's what all ghosts are. Like, no, I don't want to do that to you guys.
Yeah.
No, but like in some cases, it can be that, right? Because what ends up happening is, right, someone thinks they see a figure because gas, right? Or if they think they hear something because, again, you know, hallucination. And then what do? They spread it, and it becomes a mass hallucination because that's why, right? If someone tells you, I think my place is haunted, bro, or I think my place is haunted, and you're in their house, fuck them, because they need to let you experience that, and then you say to them, dude, there's something weird here. Yeah. Like, I know you'd probably be pissed that they didn't tell you, but the problem is when they tell you and you go, no, it's fine, I'll accept it, every little tiny creak turns into you thinking, well, that's clearly part of the haunting. Not like this is an old house, right?
And
it's just the power of suggestion.
Like, exactly, like the mind, the psyche, what you can do to a person's mind is half of the battle too, kind of thing.
Exactly. So the idea is that, you know, like for some of these places in America, these haunted restaurants, you know, or these very like older, you know, haunted homes, for all you know, it's like little, you know, tiny leaks of gas, whatever it might be, that are, I say gas, and I'm probably using the right word, because I'm not saying if you light a flame, like the whole place will explode. No, but there's certain kinds of gases, not necessarily like, oh no, you turn the key
methane,
and the ignition will blow up. Yeah, not like that, but in terms of like they can give you small
propane,
hallucinations.
Yeah. Right.
Propane, yeah, they'll give you small hallucinations, and then because you hear from everyone else, oh, this is haunted, you'll just see whatever they tell you that they've seen, because now it's in your head.
Right, exactly.
Right, so in other words, the EPA guy saying that, I was like, oh, wow, like that theory has been around for a very long time, but despite it being around for that long, you still have people saying, no, demons.
Yeah.
Your counterpoint, look, you know, like gas.
It's like your counterpoint.
No,
it's like, how about rationalism? Get him out of here.
No, not even just, no. They want to speak to you. It's just they don't budge. So it's just demons, your move. Okay, so like, you know, some type of gas that causes you to hallucinate. Your move. Demons again. Your move. Like, gas that causes you to hallucinate. Your move. Demons working with the devil. For fuck's fuck. You know, like, well,
gaseous demons. Your move.
We seem to have. God damn it. We seem to have reached an impasse.
Yeah.
I love that they brought in a cardinal. It's kind of like, it's funny.
Yeah. Oh,
so
well, like
you know,
the whole
church
line
can't
with
say anything about this, right?
Yeah.
But we're totally with you guys though.
The whole line with Beckman was like, you know, it's like, Lenny, it's like, if, you know, and it's like, what if you're wrong? It's like, then we all go to jail and we go quietly and, you know, whatever. It's like, but if I'm right and we do this and we win, you will have saved tens of millions of registered voters' lives. And it's just like, well, we all know how this is going.
Yeah, no, I found that hilarious because I was like, that's actually probably the most realistic scene.
I mean, that's
right?
how you win.
What was weird was how the cardinal nodded. I'm just like, whoa, buddy, you should not be nodding political corruption here. Like, oh,
I mean, he's probably a registered voter.
Yeah, well, that's the only reason why. Oh, I'm a registered voter, of course.
Yeah.
Why would I want to live? He didn't have an Italian accent. But anyway, so we're going to wrap up things here, and unless there's anything you want to say before we finish.
The only last comment I wanted to make was one of my notes when they're fighting Gozar, and Gozar just unleashes that lightning attack, and they start falling off the edge. And it's like, oh shit, I didn't know this was... When did this turn into Return of the Jedi or Return of the Busters? It's like,
Right.
they're getting force lightninged right now and almost into a giant pit. It's like, huh, okay. Is the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man going to throw Gozar into the reactor now?
Actually, I'm sorry to tell you this, but the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, it's the Rancor.
Well, that would make sense.
Yeah, the Marshmallow Rancor. It's so tasty and evil.
It's so puffy and it's nibbling on me. It tickles.
By the way, when it exploded, I was like, wait, that's hot. That, like, when it fell on the EPA guy, I'm like, no, that's third-degree burns.
Yeah. No, like hot marshmallow goo? God damn,
yeah.
like, don't even fucking, do not mess with that shit. Oh my God.
You know, I don't think they were going for hot marshmallow because, I mean, he would have screamed. Like, he was, I don't know what they were going for. If he was trying to scream in anger, like, damn it, or scream in pain, but I think they were trying to go for, damn it, anger, not, I'm burning to death here.
I think it was more like, you know, the idea of, like, how Vecman got slimed earlier. It's like, oh, I've been slimed. Like, no! And then they're just like, oh, kind of thing.
I wonder if the creators of the movie thought that the ectoplasm ghost, the green one, I want to say his name is Slimer, but I'm probably wrong. Slimer, thank you.
Slimer, yeah.
I wonder if they thought
I think
that
he didn't
Slimer
get that name until later.
No, that's my point. I wonder if they thought that he was going to be that popular. Because at first it was like, I thought, okay, they didn't realize it. But then they show him at the end of the movie, and I'm like, oh, did they think, like, oh, maybe we can be merchandising? Right? I think wonder if they thought about it.
No, I'm pretty sure it was only after the film came out that they had seen, like, how much the fans had, like, liked. You know, I'm pretty sure Slimer was actually a fan name, and then the franchise adopted it. Like, oh yeah, let's, they like it, so let's go with it.
That's nice.
Yeah,
right,
it was kind of nice.
Yeah, but anyway, so we're gonna wrap some things up here. I want to thank you all for listening in, as always, listening to another Friday Night Movies podcast. And I mean, here we are talking about Ghostbusters. You know, I didn't realize you were a fan in any way, right? So then when we were talking about it, right, I was like, oh, do you like Ghostbusters? And you were like, yeah. It's like, oh shit. Right?
Yeah, it was an enjoyable movie.
Yeah, and I'm not sure we'll end up talking about the second one. We still have some Crystal Skulls to talk about. But I mean, we'll see where the road takes us,
Ghosts, demons, aliens, Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster. It's all the same stuff,
Look,
right?
If it's not going to be if it's not going to be animated on Saturdays, right, where we're talking about it, we'll have it live action on Fridays. Fuck it.
Different dimensions, Kais, Dark Goku,
Spirit Detectives, whatever. But
oh, there you go. Yu Yu Hakusho X Ghostbusters. Oh God.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Who are you gonna call? Urameshi. But anywho, so again, thank you all. We're going to wrap some things up here. We're going to talk about our merchandise for a little bit. Merchandise, you can find it on thoseguysintheradio.tumblr.com/merchandise, or you can find it on our eBay account, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But hey, you can get merchandise that's related to our YouTube podcasts, or of course our general podcasts, and our Let's Plays. Both podcasts and Let's Plays available on YouTube or on our social media accounts. Our website, already mentioned that, thoseguysintheradio.tumblr.com, our Facebook /thoseguysonthereradio, our Twitter @thoseguysradio, and our Instagram /thoseguysradio. Well, Instagram is Those Guys on the Radio. Or you can search up Those Guys on iTunes to find our podcasts on there as well. Our Let's Plays are on our YouTube channel, Those Guys Play, and our YouTube are on our YouTube. Our podcasts are on our YouTube channel, Those Guys on the Radio. And our eBay, by the way, is Those Guys Radio. Now, and on our eBay, as well as on our main website, if you buy 2 shirts, you can get 1 free, and all shirts have free shipping. Same thing with posters as well. Right, free shipping and buy 2, get 1 free. Now, all right, we already talked about our YouTube channels. Although we have one other YouTube channel we have not brought up yet, our TG Productions YouTube channel, which you search up TG Productions, and you'll be able to find our TG News Show, which is nerd news with a funny, joking twist, as well as Motivational Movies, which is a series that we're releasing of the short Shia LaBeouf clips from his Just Do It rant, right, because there's a lot of those. There's actually a 30-minute rant, and clips of that put to public domain films such as Night of the Living Dead, Sherlock Holmes, and Debbie Does Dallas, and some more on the way, right? And a lot of fun stuff there. And you can find, again, on our YouTube channel, TG Productions. And speaking of Those Guys Play, right, not only do we have, because we also have Matt beats games from his childhood on our Those Guys Play channel, me being Matt, beating games from my childhood, currently beating Mega Man X. But you and I, Tristan, have played a lot of different games. Currently, actually, we played speaking of the 80s, we played a game on the N64, the NES, right, called Legend of Kage, which was a lot of fun. Not about ghosts, samurai, close enough, except completely different. And it was a lot of fun, right? We're definitely going to get back to playing that soon as we can anyway. And that's in our Season 2, right, Those Guys Play Season 2, that we're actually wrapping up soon. So definitely check that out. Also, right, I have not mentioned yet our Patreon, which is called TG Productions. And on our Patreon, it's revamped, by the way, so we have a lot of new info on there. And, depending on what tier you want to donate, first off, you can donate any tier, anything at all, right, just to help us out, literally $1, and we will love and praise you forever. But, right, depending on what tier you do donate at, you can either become a sponsor for Those Guys on the Radio, Those Guys Play, or TG News, or you could actually suggest what we could podcast on, right, either a certain show or movie or video game or anime, whatever it might be, right, book, whatever, just, you can suggest depending on what tier you donate to, or you can suggest a video game for us to play. I say suggest because we can't guarantee all selections, but we can definitely talk about it in the emails if there is some problem that arises, right? And our email, of course, being thoseguysonthereradio@gmail.com. But, yes, so that's some of the stuff you can do with our TG Productions Patreon page, or you can donate to us to try to secure yourself a copy of the manga Give My Regards to Blackjack they're bringing over from Japan. So depending on what you donate, you could either get yourself a copy of Volumes 1 and 2, either digital or physical. You can get yourself a poster from the series or a T-shirt. So a lot of fun stuff that you can get for Give My Regards to Blackjack. And any questions you want to ask us about it, you can go on our FAQ, and which is on our TG Productions Patreon account, and you can just check that out and see what's going on there, right? Or any other questions, of course, you can ask us through our Gmail, thoseguysonthereradio@gmail.com. So that is that. We finished it all yet again. I finished it all. Had to do that whole thing. And
in record time.
So in record time, I believe. I don't know. Probably not. Maybe.
It's always record time.
Thank you all. It's always record time. So anyway, thank you all. Again, as always, we love that you guys listen in. We love that you're here. And I hope you have a good night. So
who are you going to call?
Good night, everyone.
Those Guys.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da. No more. It's copyrighted. We can't do any more. We have to cut it off right there. Good night, everyone.
I ain't afraid of my cast.
Da. What? You ain't afraid to know what?
Cast.
Yeah. Those Guys. We finish each other's
sentences.
All right. Delayed. All right.